Everybody. Good evening. My name's Doug Farrar, and here we are recording the Real Hustle podcast where we talk about business. Specifically, Melissa and I host this. She's my co-host. Hello, Melissa.
Hi guys.
And we're in business together, and we like talking about business and bringing people on to like just address like business related stuff. Tonight we have a really cool guest with us. Imagine what happens when your professional purpose kind of meets your personal calling, and you're going to see what a significant part of her life all this ties together. In this episode, we're going to sit down with Dr. Rachel Smart. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she's discovered years and years ago a blueprint or a business model that allows her to serve patients, protects her time, allows her to create a great legacy beyond her practice and her clinic. And we'll discuss her journey, how multi-stream incomes can be developed within that kind of a business model or a professional business model, like being in the medical field or a personal trainer or things like that. And we'll navigate a little bit how you can have real integrity while doing all of this, which can be a challenge sometimes. So, Dr. Smart, welcome. I'll try to call you Dr. Smart. I would like to call you Rachel because we are friends.
Oh, I love it. And I'm glad that you invited me to speak here. And I'd love to help, give inspiration and some education and some solutions too. And I'm grateful to be able to expand the reach where health professionals have ways to leverage their time with education. And there's ways that we can get more support with some of the things we do to collaborate, because we can't be experts on everything.
That's true. That's true. Well, your story is really powerful. And I want everybody to hear it. I know I'm familiar with it, but it's kind of like the why behind everything that's happened for you in the last 20 something years, maybe, or well, I'll let you tell your story, but can you give us a little bit about your personal story and some of the trials that you did go through, and then how that resulted in you becoming a naturopathic doctor and even adding in your Juice Plus business with that?
Oh, well, I am just, a lot of times we go through life, and I believe, and as I think we all could agree, that when you go through the path and you think you're on the path, there's some things that make decisions, whether you're very inspired because something you learned and something that you're called to because you're desperate. So my story began with a wake up call, and it was, I was sitting in the middle of a wonderful life. I had four beautiful children, a 1 year old and a 10 year old, and there was two children in between, and married to my sweetheart. We were married for about 20 years, and he was the tip top athlete, perfect picture of health. And all of a sudden there was shattered dreams. He was diagnosed unexpectedly with very little warning with adrenal cancer. It had spread all over his body, and they gave him 6 months to live. And
How old were you at that time?
I was 34 and he was
Oh
37.
my gosh. Yeah.
So, just like what happened, I was a stay home mom. I was loving what I was doing and never saw it coming. And I was so grateful, or we had each other to fight with, and we have a strong faith to can navigate how we're gonna surrender, we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna search. And because the doctors dismissed us because we didn't have any traditional treatment, that was an open door to go search out alternatively, because there wasn't traditional treatment, and they didn't. What are you going to cut out when it's all over the bones and the lungs and the lymphatic system and everything else? So a lot of perfect alignments happen. I won't go through all of them for the sake of the time, but we met a person that knew a doctor that had just been speaking in Atlanta. He was kind of the forerunner, the pioneer of prevention in 1990. That's when it all kind of began. A lot of the pioneer doctors and the forward-thinking doctors began their research about prevention, antioxidants, and food-first approach. And so we followed that, and connection. And we went to Oklahoma, Dr. Joel Robbins, and he was just one of the sharpest forerunners. Worked with Dr. McDougall. There's some other ones in the beginning of this whole
Yeah.
and we went out there for about a week and a half, and we got in his Rejuva week. We learned about the body can heal food is your best medicine. We learned about colonic therapy, food, juicing, wheatgrass, dehydration, the mind, everything. And I soaked it up, and he became a mentor of mine. I began going to school as a naturopath at the very beginning because I'm going to help my husband live. We're on a battle plan for him. I've always been very healthy. I wanted my kids to be armored strong. And so we went full force with how to alkaline the body, how to give him, work on that, helping him fight, because we're all going to die, but we don't want to speed it up. So
Yeah.
we're trying to extend it, expand it, and with combination of faith and food and, the community and everything working together. Um, he was just blessed with, we learned juicing. Juicing was a big tool at the beginning. We started out with a full 1 month of a juice fast, and we did all the other colonic therapies and things that I teach and do help, and I share these cutting edge therapies with my practice today. But we started working with the mind. Of course, mind has a lot to do with it, and juicing by the gallons for that first month primarily, and then it was almost 100% plant based diet. And getting that, start with education, which we did. We start with detoxing, which we did with food and other avenues of herbs and things. Then we worked with some of the tools like juicing, and then we were introduced to Juice Plus. And I was a healthy skeptic. I guess I was a healthy skeptic. I like healthy skeptics because I think you need to be a skeptic. And I just was learning about another way to juice it was more juicing on the run. And I kind of pulled back. I was doing all the stuff myself on the hard way with the juicing, the, sprouting, the things, dehydration, and getting the living food to help his body to fight and to, alkaline those cells and getting the body to communicate wellness. And he was going back to work. He was, trying to get back into the rhythm. And I believe it was God. Of course, that was God. It was a nudge to expand my reach to help him and also help others that were fighting and wanted to help as well. Because I began helping others along the path. And Juice Plus, when I heard this, the cutting edge doctor who was he was Dr. Rick Du Bois in Atlanta. He was one of the best doctors there are in integrative health. He was working with AIDS patients, and he was using a food concentrated plant powders, crushed plants in a capsule, Juice Plus, because of the research and the results. And so when I saw that, and I looked at they had 15 published studies there, and they were done. And we can talk later about how I know, Juice Plus works and why I recommend it today. But it became a way to get out of the house, get out of the kitchen a lot, so I could enjoy my family. And we used it therapeutically. So we can use crushed plants, concentrated plant powder in variety in a way that we can have it. He extended his life for 8 extra years.
So yeah, that's what I mean, I remember hearing your story and hearing that. So the medical doctors give him 6 months to live, and so you seek out some alternatives. You just ask some questions. The path leads you to these various natural pathic type people. And even Dr. McDougall, I know who that is. I mean, he wrote the starch solution. I've used his principles to address heart disease, and my numbers are completely different now. Now you got to do some extreme things, but what you can do with natural things is pretty remarkable.
Right. And we're not dismissing medical doctors.
No.
But we're saying there's tools, and the doctors that I was trained, he was a medical doctor and trained in naturopathic care. It's all about getting your body to heal and getting out of the way a lot. So I'd say 70 to 90% it can be very, it's miraculous.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So as you're learning, as you're learning from these naturopathic doctors, you're obviously coming home and you're helping him, and you're juicing now. I mean, I can't imagine how much you're juicing is tough. I know I've tried that,
Well,
but
yeah, but in back up with the juicing, the thing that really made me take a look at Juice Plus, because it was more a higher higher level than juicing, because it wasn't just taking out the water, a limited amount of things you can palate. It was the peelings, the pulp, the vine ripened quality. We have generational farmers. It was not. It was a lot higher quality than what you're getting in the store. And so we use that because foundationally, 80% of healing is in what you put in your mouth, and it's in the kitchen. And then we work on the other cores of health with movement and attitude and all the other things. But when I began realizing that it is a lot about the food, and then you have the other cutting edge therapies that can help the body can do what it's supposed to do, get out of the way. But we're going to battle. We either battle strong, we fight to stay well and to maximize our life. And so I began to really see how food gives the edge on life, and see my husband how he did so well. And even though it's been about 20 years now, have been able to have a heart to help people have solutions that are incredible. So I use a lot of different things, and I use a lot of mind body work as well, because I think that's a big part of health and managing your emotions. But I really am proud that I've been a successful naturopathic doctor, and I have things that weave naturally. People are very receptive. They see great value. I give research. I ask a lot of good questions, and just grateful to.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, you're very thorough and not intense in a bad way, but in a good way. Like you're very passionate, I would say. One thing I always worry about with juicing, because Sharon, my wife Sharon, and we take the Juice Plus products as well. And I'm a vegan now because of some heart issues, and learning from guys like Dr. McDougall and Dr. Ornish and whatnot. But we occasionally will juice a bunch of stuff, and we'll go through a little juicing phase. But I always notice, let's say you're doing apples and some other things with some of the fruits. I worry about like the sugars.
Mhm. Well, you can see a big rush of energy because there's a lot of sugar. It's good, but we do need the fiber. We need to make sure our body knows how to have the digestive health. And a lot of things we juice is we put a lot of apples in things, and a lot of carrots, and we want things. I remember once I tried to juice cabbage juice. I wanted to get I wanted the most
I've
potent
done it.
profile. Yeah, the cabbage juice.
Ginger.
It burns. It's a burning, but we want to be able to have that. And so it's nice to have a solution. This is my foundation to my nutritional plan. As we start making changes in the other areas of their health, we look at their whole picture, but you got to get the nutrition right. And it starts to catalyst and create other changes with their palate and their gut health. And they have, the digestion, start having bowel regularity, and things begin to change because you fix the foundation. And when a lot of people come to me and they're taking a boatload of supplements, supplements can be really helpful, but I believe you have to start with the foundation, and then you can eliminate a lot of the toppers, I call them. And I always like to use the analogy: when you go to build a house, you're not going to start with the shutters and the doorknobs and the light switches. You're going to start with the cement. And once you get that cement done and build the house right, you have less supplements to take. There's very little. And if you do, they're usually for a month or 2 or 3 months, and get off of them for an exception for a couple.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell our live audience that's watching that you can ask questions in the chat, and we'll try to address those questions as we go through this tonight. But back to you, Rachel. I mean, it is just it's tough to even hear that, that to go through what you've gone through as a family with children, and to lose your spouse at such a young age. It's tough, but those years that you gained obviously had an impact on you, because, like, you're not wondering if you can naturally help people. You actually extended a man's life by many, many years that happened to be your husband, So how did that impact you as far as becoming a naturopathic physician, and to just connect with people, and how did it just form how you wanted to serve people moving forward?
Well, I wanted to expand my reach I thought a lot of people that I had started to connect with, they knew me because of my relationship with them, and thinking, if your husband looks like that, Howie Long, they always calls my husband Howie Long. He said, what does my husband have, struggles? They started seeing it was about, you can't feel disease or see disease until it's already developed most of the time. So and I always like to describe it like the iceberg. You don't see the thing building until you have the little pop-up of the iceberg, and that's where the symptom comes. So I wanted to expand my reach and help people be aware with preventative health, You got to be proactive. Don't wait for your teeth. You go to the dentist to, to be able to you want to keep the teeth clean before you have the root canal, And so I helped people that were scared to death and that they were battling something. They wanted preventing it. I wanted people to not have to worry, at least reduce, not saying that everything is resolved by, doing all these amazing things, but you're keeping the disease at bay or minimizing dramatically. So I wanted to be able to get in to serve people. And so I really found that was my calling. A lot of times we go through hard things, and it opens up a door of like, this passion. And then I was definitely not a corporate person at all. I didn't even finish college. I 3.5 years, well, not 3.5, about 3 years into my third year, I was going to be a nurse. And then, we got married the third year, and then we moved, and then I couldn't get the colleges and they wouldn't transfer the credits. And then I started doing other things. It kind of, I always wanted to be, I worked in nursing home in 2 years in college just to get some, little bit going through school. I wanted to help people when I got into the nursing homes and seeing elderly, how they aged. I want to help people before they do that. I want to help them with prevention. And they didn't have that preventative field then. It came out about the time my husband got sick. And so it was a miracle open door for me. And I believe that God turned a calling into what could have been a tragedy. And I believe that everybody is called to, love someone, and we learn to love deeper because we let go of what really isn't ours at the beginning. And we have a very close family. I armored my children. I help others with the things that I do. I speak a lot, but I love seeing health and hope. I guess that's what it is. Hope turn around, because there is hope. We don't have to be just hearing a diagnosis and saying, well, I guess we're going to give up. It's when you go to fight. You got to get the little, that little pit bull, fight for what it is, and having the tools to do it and systems behind that, and how to leverage things as well. Because I'm not a medical doctor, but took me about 3.5 years to get my, I have a dual degree, a naturopathic degree, and a nutritional counseling degree.
Okay.
And I got a lot of,
we are going to, we're going to get into some business talk coming up here, and I want somebody in the chat named Healthy. We're going to address ethics and Rachel's confidence about Juice Plus and feeling comfortable staking her reputation on it. That's our third topic. I do want to do one quick question from Lisa, Rachel, and she says, because I know that I already heard the answer to this somewhere else. Are there any other supplements you think are important for people in general to be on other than Juice Plus?
Primarily, there's two: vitamin D3, K, and B12.
B12.
And yes, because those are just something we struggle with. And I always say get your levels checked, because you can also be very rarely to be overkill on the vitamin D, but sometimes you are. And I go every year. I've only been to well visits in 25 years. And I've been doing everything that I teach. I'm not perfect, but I've been doing the foundation, and 80-90% of the time, I've only been well visits in 25 years. And I get myself checked for well visits every year. And so I see what my levels are, and they've always been on. But those are the two mainly. And then get yourself checked. If you need some supplements, there are some really good, pure encapsulations when I use, but you can go and find where you're lacking. And then I say a month or 2 or 3 months, and usually get off, because your body starts getting out of whack. Typically. We need synergy, and that's where I love about getting a whole food concentrate. You got all the thousands and thousands of variety of polyphenols and beta carotenes, and where Mother Nature knows how to make this communication work within food. You're not trying to isolate things out, and if you are, it's only a month or 2 or 3, and then typically, you can pick up with food. And make sure you're not pulling in the toxins, because you got to work the other end too, right?
So you use a supplement to get your levels up to where they should be, and then make sure you're eating the right stuff to keep it there.
Right, because if you don't, then it becomes attached to the body, and you're exhausted. I have people come to me, and they're so taking all these supplements, and I go, whoa, your body is trying to get rid of. They don't work all together, and you've done them too long. Let's just get you off of them. Let's just start letting the body learn how to do it on its own. And then once in a while, tap, tap, tap. You can tap it. But it shouldn't be long-term. That's my opinion.
And and I'll just say for our audience, so they understand, that's one thing that makes our Juice Plus product unique, is that it's not a supplement. It actually doesn't even have a supplement label. It has a food label. It's literally fruits and vegetables and berries in a capsule. So that you can't overdose on broccoli or kale, but things like D3 or B12, those are isolated nutrients that they've identified. And then oftentimes they're making this stuff in a lab. And so it works in the body, but it doesn't work the same as the synergy we would see with real fruits and vegetables, which is what Juice Plus is.
Also, there's the profile of all the different organ-specific plants that Dr. Centillo was. I'm very impressed with his work that he created. He looked at the vibrational frequencies of the different colors of food to make sure that we were getting the most healing potencies, all the plants coming together to help the blues, the reds, the greens, the oranges, and all parts of the body, the lungs, the liver, and the gallbladder. And it wasn't just the banana but it was all working together. And I've been to the farm about 3 years ago. I went to, I think it's about 3 years now, but Chicago, one of the biggest kale farms. We saw pick and vine ripened produce, which is you don't get in the store, high potency, high healing. And then, washing the food, the trucks come in, the layer of all the testing, about 7 layers of testing is tested on the finished product, not on an ingredient. It's tested in the blood. And we don't do hyped, pay to market and have the big branding to be able to have the pretty things out there. It's really research that shows up in the blood of a human being. And then it's creating other things that, the body knows what to do, because it is a miraculous gift from God. So,
yeah. Well, your knowledge is so amazing as a naturopathic that it's hard for me. I'm trying I'm saying to myself, okay, I got to talk about business here. We're supposed to talk about business, but we keep going. We're like 20 minutes in here. So we're probably going to make this 2 videos or 2 episodes. Thanks for our live people for being with us. But before I move on to business talk with you, I want you to share a little bit about your new book that's coming out, because I think it might help some of our listeners and people that see this, and we'll put a link into the show notes for that.
Well, it just came. 10 years ago, I had a book. I collaborated with my daughter. It's called Modern Day Miracles. And this is our story of how we found how to fight while when you live in a family that goes through a lot of navigation of hard things. And it's really about faith and resiliency. And it's all the things we learned. And it's a story that I'm amazed when I read it. It's really the miracles of God. They are alive. And I'm just grateful that I never would have gotten through the storms if I hadn't seen what I know. And then after 10 years, I realized people are having a hard time managing how to get through the storm. So I went to a deeper dive of 7 pillars for miraculous living. And it's how, when you go through storms, it's harder the storm, the higher the strength. So there's 7 pillars to how to navigate the hard emotions and really identifying what is it that we can rewrite our best story so we can find joy in life and see the miracles is a deeper dive in a restored perspective. So I will give you can send out the link to where they can see a 30-second video of sharing, and then where to get that from. And there's a 50% off a course for a limited time. But I really found that people don't have joy in life. They have a lot of emotion, stress, storms, and they get flatlined, and it affects your health, affects your income, it affects joy. Yeah. And I want people to find there is joy even when they're going through the circumstances. It's about the focus. And that's the new book that just came out? Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Harvest Power Strength.
Well, you've been through them. And listen, one thing I've learned getting into my 50s is that everybody's going to have those storms, so you got to be ready to weather the storms. I live in Florida, so I've been through many a hurricane, and, you got to know what you're going to do. You got to have a plan. And I think your book is going to prepare people not only for the storms they're going through currently, but even just helping them in their faith. I mean, faith is a huge part of everything for you, right?
Right. But there's 7 pillars, and it's very easy to navigate. And
good.
These are critical. There's 7. You go down, and we have lots of things. And some of the greatest storms are complacency, and it's drifting. So there's a little bit of so I have 3 sections to the book, but I really feel that the joy is what people are missing. And whether it's a death or divorce or a downsize or lost dreams or just loneliness, there's lots of things. And we want to help understand how to navigate those well. And it's with the Lord.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to transition right now. I want to talk a little bit about business. And I mean, I know you're a great naturopathic doctor. People like love you. Everybody loves you. She's a wonderful person, but she's also a great entrepreneurial businesswoman that leads with love and really cares about people. And you've been doing this Juice Plus business for, I mean, almost as long as, I mean, how did that happen where you're becoming a naturopathic doctor, but then there's Juice Plus? Like, did that happen all at the same time, or how did you actually end up in the Juice Plus business?
Well, we wanted it for our family. We thought this is a tool we needed. And then when I had clients come, when I went through and do the questionnaire and we educate, we go, what are you doing for your nutrition? And they were not having the best of health. This is foundational. And we start getting the best changes because we start working with the base. And then I can help manage the other things because a lot of things begin to metabolic reprogramming, the way the body begins to work, it starts to move out when you get the base done. So I naturally was sharing this when I found the need. I sit down with people and I do a questionnaire and I feel a need. What are you doing? What's working? What you've tried? And I get all them basically unveiling everything, and then I just say, this is what I know, and this is what I want to recommend, and you're open to it. But this is the best help. And what I found with my clients were they had been doing the juicing or they've been trying to eat plant based, but when we started the highly concentrated vine ripened variety of plants, it was they had energy to exercise, they were drinking more water, they were craving more fruits and vegetables, their immune was going up. And so it started changing everything. And so that was always the nutritional base. I have other things that I use, but we always start with that. And if they choose not to, I work with them, but then I always say, well, you're open to learning. And 99% they are, because I feel like I have that integrity. Well, I work with other doctors that are really doctors of osteopathic medicine, medical doctors. I have many that I am part of my partnership. They recommend it. They take it.
Yeah,
You wouldn't take something you weren't going to recommend. And
right.
so I did a lot of research on it. And I was about a year ish into it before I ever said yes. When I said yes, I say yes to everyone. It would be in the not to have integrity, not to share.
Yeah. So you've been doing Juice Plus business for
25 years.
25 years, same as us.
Oh,
So you
wow.
came in about the same time. We're not like on the same teams or anything within Juice Plus, but we also have many, health professionals, personal trainers, naturopathic doctors, pediatricians, you name it, that are on our team that recommend Juice Plus. And so I'm just wondering, like, how does that work? And so I assume you also have had people that you've taught how to recommend Juice Plus in their practices as well over the years. What I notice, I don't know how it really works in the medical industry, but I do notice that like many chiropractic offices or other places, they usually have bottles of stuff that they recommend. They don't seem to recommend it very often, but it's always sitting there on the shelf.
Standard
Um,
processing. Yeah.
yeah. And then when you're at a medical doctor's office, there's always those pharmaceutical reps coming in that are dressed really nice and they have like the little luggage they're carrying. I don't know what's in that luggage, but obviously there's like a sale thing going on there and they're being encouraged to recommend certain pharmaceuticals. So, I mean, it's part of what people do. I know I was just on a call with a personal trainer, a yoga instructor today. And those types of people, they get approached all the time. Oh, you should recommend this. You should recommend that. So how does that look for you? Like, what does it add to you? I also know there's certain people that have like a naturopathic office or whatever that don't offer any types of supplements or anything like that. How does that play into like the business side of things for you? How has that worked for you?
Well, when I first started, I didn't know much about the business, and I guess that's where the main thing that held me back a little bit of wanting to know, because I had some bad, I don't know, a misunderstanding and unprofessional people that had approached me. So I had to do some really rethinking that I didn't attach something that wasn't true to something that was valid. And the first thing when people ask me, just to maybe answer one of your questions, was people say, well, what about this product or what about this product? All I have to say is, show me the published peer reviewed gold standard human studies. And I can tell you, I've only had one or two companies that have one or two studies, and we have almost 50.
Yeah,
So
right.
with the doctors that I work with, they may have 10 supplements. They're short lived. Usually they're short term, like I say, a couple that I told you about, but they always start with something that can get the inflammation down. The root of all disease is inflammation. We got to get that down, and we got to detoxify the body. So that is the base. My doctors always recommend the base, and then have toppers. And when I learned about the hybrid business model, I thought, wow, this is incredible. This wasn't a network marketing company. This was a company that had a way to help. I was looking at the benefit of the health medical packet because my husband died. So it's like, you can have a medical packet. I don't want to, I have to get the medical insurance. My kids are waiting, looking at me, and I don't want to go to work. And I said, in 2 years, I went to the top of this multi-million-dollar company and got the benefit packet. I was able to get tuition support. So they have a corporate benefit packet that was really a draw for me.
Yeah.
And then when I got into the culture and community of the company, I thought, we have health professionals like no other. We share information, we share resources, we collaborate. I don't have to be the heart expert or the diabetes expert. And these are my friends and partners that are the top in their field. And it is incredible. So I was able to have the company have the resources available, was able to have some income based on me sharing and leveraging my time. I want to help a lot of people. And at the beginning, I was helping a lot of customers. So maybe you start that way.
Yeah.
And then my mentor said, do you want to help a lot of people? Well, you want to do multiplication or you want to do addition? I thought, what do you mean? I thought, oh, you want to be able to help other leaders share and expand this reach. We have a war and epidemic that we're faced. So I thought, well, what does that mean? And so I learned about the ability to be able to make income in 5 ways. I thought, what an incredible opportunity to have a corporate benefit packet, have a part of direct sales, have a piece that was a network marketing piece, which was great that I could pay and never have a lot of income coming into a family and help others do the same.
Right.
What a gift. I
love that part of it.
Oh my goodness. And then being able to know that I could, there's no ceiling on what I could do. So I was able to find hope and purpose. I was leveraging my time, my resources. I was able to raise all my children and stay home with all of them. I have, I'm a Greek grandma of 9 grandkids. And today I did a couple things with work and I played most of the day with my grandkids. I'm doing a book launch on Friday, so I've been able to have the residual part of an edible product, and I'm rewarded highly for sharing it. And they reward me just like a physical therapist, just like a chiropractor. You teach somebody to do the work and you get paid and leverage that. That is remarkable. And that is the best gift, because 80% of Americans are doing some type of a home-based business. And I wrap mine around these 3 things that I do. I do my services. I do my base. Juice Plus is my base to build the best results, the best research. And I am so proud to be part of this amazing company that's been around for 50 years. So when I hear all the stories of the people that I've helped, I just felt a gift. And then I have I don't get, everyone that wants to be in business, but I can't imagine not. And I've been so proud in 25 years to be able to know I'm 62 and I'm still excited as ever.
You're looking mighty fine for 62. I'll tell you that, or for any age.
Well, I feel amazing. I always tell my kids, your heart, you got to have the inside is more important than the outside, but you want to be able to have you want to look good, you want to be able to be your best and have your energy. And I have that, not meaning that I can get in a car accident tomorrow and have some things that really wake it up, but I'm grateful to have tools. And Juice Plus is the most researched whole food nutritional product in the entire world.
Yeah, and that speaks to your professional. So as a healthcare professional, when you're recommending something, that's one of the things we want to hit on as we close, is just integrity. And the fact that, you're the product you recommend. And let me point out as well that, there's only so much Rachel to go around. So if you're just seeing patients, that's like kind of the almost like an hourly or service type of industry. And when you get into the real business of it,
you get paid by what you do. And and I love the leverage part, because I remember when I went out, maybe about 10 years in the business, I took my kids on a Mediterranean cruise and we had a wedding afterwards, and I didn't work for a whole month. My paycheck went up the next month. I'm like, who doesn't want that?
And for people listening, that's because not only does she recommend the product, but she is a team builder, which that's what she was referring to when she says she has the opportunity to help other people do the same thing and make a little bit of extra money. You don't have to I mean, sometimes we think of business and it's like, oh my gosh, you got to do all this stuff and make 10, and you'll make 10 or $20,000 a month. But for some people, $300 to $500 a month is going to change the budget completely.
Well, and I think too, as I we back up to the, the way I love when people come, my clients come in, they want help. And then, and it's about asking the questions, and it just makes sense when you start looking at the research. It's a food concentrate. It's the
Yeah.
most research in the world. It's not a company that's been around and gone tomorrow. Our company's
Right.
been around for 54 years. We're not in Costco. I'm not going to knock on that. We're not in, some of these companies that they have a company and the next 2 years they don't have a company and they create another whole little
Right.
marketing model. We are so grounded, and it's very unique because our company's president designed it, and it's a hybrid of many multifaceted best business models. And so this is the wave of the future. You look at Warren Buffett and some of the other leaders that are uh, out there. They just say if you don't have some way to make some residual reliable, I call it reliable income, then you're missing the boat. And so Juice
Yeah.
Plus is an edible product. You eat it. We have reset programs that are combined. We have kids get it for free. The Healthy Starts program. What company would allow a parent to be able to influence a child with a free whole food concentrates with 20 to 30 plants every day? And then we have other products, and I'm just really proud. I've always been proud, and it's very receptive. And I work with a lot of health professionals and lay. And if anybody's skeptic, I said, well, then let's talk about what makes us, you go look at information. Anybody can write anything on the internet. You want to be able to go, where are you getting your information? It's PubMed, and our company didn't make the research. We
Right.
didn't buy it. So I know what I know. I know what I feel in my body. I have dramatic, we've got a lot of stories, but it's always backed by research. And the
Yeah.
business model is, I was skeptical, and I think you need to be. But when I learned what kind of model it was a hybrid, and it wasn't a buying club. We don't stock product. I'm not, where there's no hyping. I don't hype anybody. We're not
Right.
trying to, it's just an option for people. I had talked to another lady today or yesterday. I got two new partners, and she was a health professional. She wants to get healthy. So you can just start by getting healthy and get a little discount on your, products. And then you can be able to share this with your family and friends. Who doesn't want that? And my first the goal was just to cover my cost. I wouldn't even want to do the
So
business,
when it
so
comes to talking to healthcare professionals, it can be challenging sometime. I know that's been my experience. How do you approach them in a way where they might be a little wary of like our business model or whatnot? So what are some ways that you approach them to kind of address that?
Well, one of them I can just tell you, I work with the Dr. Gina Gonzalez Johnson. She's been in practice for 20 plus years, and she has an 8 month waiting list. And so I went to see her as an interview. I basically said, I'm changing I need a doctor. I need a holistic doctor. I'm getting older. My medical practitioner, he passed away. And I just said, I came in and I just said, I wanted to see what your philosophy is. And I want to see if you're the right doctor for me. And we talked a little bit, and I said, would you want to go for lunch? I want to hear what your vision is, because I want to see if you're the right doctor for me. Right. We talked. I listened to her about her vision, her goals, and then it was about an hour in, and I just said, "Have you ever seen the research behind Juice Plus?" She said, "I've been taking it for almost 15 years." I says, have you ever shared it?" She goes, I says, I'm a customer." I go, "Really?" I says, "Wow, can you imagine you take it? Why would you not share this with those that you love? I mean, you take it." She goes, "I don't know how." I go, "What if I showed you?" And I did, and I helped her leverage a Friday. She took Fridays off now with her children, and she offers it as a foundational tool. And the biggest changes come from that. Like my practice, the biggest changes come when they get on Juice Plus. And we have leverage tool business. And my friend, just example of the Dr. Gina, she took Fridays off with her family. She took her kids, pays for all the extracurricular activities like soccer, went to Spain. Um, I work with a lot of people that are not health professionals, and they go, wow, I can be ready for the best years and be ready for the worst, like happened to me. A lot of women lose their spouses or they go through a
Mm.
divorce. What are we going to do? And this is a way they can stay home and create a legacy, be able to have a way to have a resiliency because you have a passion and a purpose wrapped around these tools that are, you don't have to be the expert. You gotta be this. I love raving moms, passionate moms that are going to go fight for the kids at the PTO and all those things. So I'd much rather we have a community, and
Yeah.
uh, and it is. I just wish I would have known a little sooner, probably. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're here now. And so that's awesome. So basically, the bottom line is this: any great business has to have a great product. And our business has a great product. So you basically just tell the healthcare practitioner about the product.
Well, I asked,
And,
well, back up to that. Well, I guess a layer of your question. When I talk to a health professional, I just find out what are they doing? I got to find out what they're doing, and they like what they're doing. Do you ever have a nutritional component to your practice?
yeah.
That's the question. They go, yes. So what is that? Why did you pick that? Have you ever considered a whole food platform, not just supplements? I try to go there with them.
Yeah.
And are you open to at least looking at what other doctors look at and the research behind it? I think you'd be very impressed. That's what I would say.
Yeah. We're probably going to have some healthcare people watch this and watch the replay. So we will put links to the Juice Plus research. And whenever you see one of our podcasts, whoever shared it with you, you want to reach out to that person and find out more, because maybe they might not be the person that directly guides you. But another great thing that Rachel was alluding to is that we have a community of people. There's a structure in how the business model works. Like any other business, you have your, in a traditional business, you might have like a manager, and then you have a regional manager, then a CEO, and things like that. We have the same thing. There's people that are more and more experienced that you can reach up to, that can help that medical professional get started and understand how to integrate it into their practice effectively and stuff.
Right. Well, I think one more thing before, I know we're a little late in here, but it's being a professional. I think we may get a little prickly, I call it, or when you have had uneducated people, unprofessional people share something. We've all had that happen, and that's what we train. I'm good at training how to educate others and finding the need. And then, are you open? And this is maybe some solution that you may want to look at. What I did. No one needs to push anybody, and we need to learn how to best be a professional. But our company is the best at what we do, and I'm very proud. So I always say you got to have the best. If you're the best doctor, if you're the best physical therapist or best chiropractor, you better have the best tools. And I feel that I do.
That is awesome. That's a great ending right there. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting us pick your brain. There's another interview that Rachel was on just a few days ago. I'm going to put a link to that video as well. I think you guys, it especially gets more into like her personal story, and just getting a different angle. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy that too. So I'll put that in there. But thanks for watching. Rachel, thanks for coming on. And we'll keep this series going. Make sure you like and subscribe to us. And we'll keep putting out some good business and network marketing related type of content, so you can understand a little bit more about what we do and why it works and why we believe this is the best possible business model for somebody looking to have like a side hustle or a new main hustle, whatever you want. But we love it. And we thank you so much for coming on, Rachel.
Great to have you. I'd love to continue to help offer some support there with anybody.
Awesome. Lisa says thank you. Thank you for coming on, Lisa, and everybody who watched. Have a great night.